Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome back to Find XYZ. If you are new to this channel, I'll not say it, but you know what to do. Let's try this question. We have been given an equation that states that 3 all on x plus y minus 4 all on x minus y is equal to 0. We've been tasked to find the value of x on y where y must not be equal to 0. Let's dive in. Now, I have 3 on x plus y minus 4 over x minus y is equal to 0. We have an equation. If I have a over b minus c over d is equal to 0, I can decide to move this fraction to this side and change the sign. So we have the operator in front of the fraction to be negative. So I'll write this as 3 all over x plus y. Then I bring this whole term to the other side of the equation. Now I have 4 all over x minus y. This term was negative, is now positive. Then if I have a over b which is equal to c over d, I can comfortably cross multiply. Then I'll cross multiply. Then I'll have 3 multiplying x minus y is equal to 4 also multiplying x plus y. Then I'll expand. So 3 times x will give us 3x. Then 3 times negative y will give us negative 3y is equal to 4 times x, 4x, then 4 times y, 4y. Then I want x on one side of the equation and y also on the other side of the equation. So this is what I'm going to do. Since I don't want 4x on this side, I will subtract 4x on this side. Whatever I do on the right hand side, I do the same thing on the left hand side. So I'll do the same thing here. Then since I don't want this here, but this is negative, so I'll add 3y on both sides. Then I'll do the same thing here. So what is 3x minus 4x? That will give us negative x. Then negative 3y plus y is 0. It's off. So this term will give us 0. So negative x plus 0 is still negative x. Then this side is equal to 4x minus 4x will also go to 0. So this term is also 0. Then 4y plus 3y will give us 7y. Now look at this. What are we looking for? We are looking for x over y. So I can decide to divide this side by y and this side also by y. Then y divides y. But we know that y is not 0. If y is 0, obviously it will make this whole thing undefined. So y is not 0. That is why we are dividing by the variable. Take note of that. So we have negative x over y is equal to 7. But we are looking for x over y, not negative x over y. So what can we do? What we can do is that we can multiply both sides by negative 1. Multiply this side also by negative 1. It's always about balancing the equation. The negative times negative will give us positive. So we have xy is equal to 7 times negative 1 will give us negative 7. That is the answer to this problem.